Bustamante, and I will be giving you a presentation for my CS 315 class. So now let's imagine that you just won the lottery. You won $250 million. Now that's a lot of money, right? I mean, think of all the stuff that you could do with that money. Now let's compare that to what the Environmental Protection Agency found. They found that in the year 2008, over 250 million tons of waste was produced by Americans. Now luckily, 61 million was recovered through recycling and 22 million through composting. But this still left over 160 million tons that was sent into landfills. Now remember, this was just in 1 year. So what exactly is composting? Composting is the natural decomposition of organic material that creates a rich soil called compost. In other words, it's nature's way of recycling. So you should know that there are several components to creating compost. You need water, oxygen, and heat. You also need microorganisms, which are insects, and you need macroorganisms, which are the bacteria. You also need a balance between carbon and nitrogen. So today I will be talking to you about how to create your own compost at home and explaining all the great benefits of it. Now there are 4 steps in creating compost. The first step is to either make or buy a compost bin. Now the easiest kind is just getting a garbage can and drilling some holes in it. You could also make one out of wire mesh, or you could get fancy and make one out of wood or concrete block. Or you could always just buy one that's already made. Second step is start to gather the items to go into your compost. As I mentioned earlier, you need a balance of carbon and nitrogen. So today I will be talking about the items high in carbon as browns and referring to the items high in nitrogen as greens. So the browns, that includes all your cardboard, your corn cobs, your coffee grounds, your paper, your newspaper, and any dried leaves you have around the house. And now your greens, that encompasses all your fruit and vegetable waste. It also encompasses your breads, such as donuts and crackers, as well as your grains, such as rice and barley. But just remember that you can't put all your trash into your compost. You should never put any bones, any meat or fish, no magazines because of the dyes and inks. And you also shouldn't put any metal, glass, or plastic into your compost. And if you do put some of these items in there, it might create a stinky smell. So the third step in creating a compost is caring for it. As I mentioned earlier, you need that balance of nitrogen to carbon, so try to keep a 5:7 ratio. You should also try to layer these browns and greens as well. Now you should also always try to keep your bin damp. Too little water will make it hard for the organisms to survive, as well as too much water. And if you put too much water, you can always just add some more browns in and it'll soak up the extra moisture. Organisms also need oxygen to survive. So you should turn your pile frequently with either a shovel or a pitchfork, or if you have a garbage can, you can just roll it around a few times. So depending on how much time and care you put into your compost, it can be ready in as little as a few weeks, or it could take up to 12 months. But you'll know when it's ready when it becomes dark brown and it starts to become crumbly. So your final and 4th step to creating your own compost is using the finished compost. You could use it all around your landscape, in your garden, in your grass, in pots, or even around some trees. So now that you know the 4 steps to creating your own compost, you can start turning your own trash into fertile compost. So let's review the 4 steps. 1. Make or buy a bin. 2. Combine a 5:7 ratio of brown to green items. 3. Maintain your bin by keeping it damp and ventilated. And 4. Use your finished compost. So I know that it takes a lot of time and work to creating a compost, but just keep in mind all the great benefits that it offers. It reduces the amount of waste that's put into landfills. And something stated in a New York Times article is that it also reduces the amount of methane that's released into the atmosphere. And now methane is a contributor to hotter temperatures. And lastly, you'll create a rich soil that you can use around your landscape. So I will end today's presentation with a fact from the Clean Air Council. They state that every day Americans produce enough garbage to fill 63,000 garbage trucks. Now that's a lot of trash. So the next time you go to throw away your trash, instead think about putting it into your compost and creating a healthier and more beautiful environment. Thank you.